Hi, my brothers and sisters. This is Mary Hernandez with Genesis Kingdom, Part 1. So today, title, I pick elements again. And I know that I have done some Bible verses with you about elements. But what prompted me, and I'm going to tell you what prompted me, was actually that I believe one of the ladies on YouTube had in there something like the goddesses of the sun, the goddesses of this. And, to be honest with you, I even thought that, I had been called a goddesses before. I mean, I didn't know what that meant. I was just like, people have always, I think they wrote me on Facebook because they would write me that. And, oh, my goddesses, and I was all like, oh, my God, whatever. I never really understood. I knew that I was from God. I knew I had been chosen, the only true God, the creator of the ends of the earth. And so with that being said, I was like, oh, maybe that's what I really thought it meant, is a goddesses, So when you see people that write goddesses of sun, goddesses of moons and stars, it's all elements of demonic world. So that's what prompted me to, as when I seen that kind of, and then I get to this Bible verse, which I'm in Kings 2, it brought up the elements, which is all written. It's all in the Bible, the elements. They're on godly kings, what they worship, the sun, the moon, the stars, the earth. That's what they call it, Mother Earth. On Mother Earth. Mother Earth is really the demonic world. You know what I'm saying? It's evil entities, demonic entities, people that want evil. And I could back it up. So when you hear that, goddesses, you know the difference. You do wisdom and discernment. You don't need to get information from somebody that is serving the darkness. Common sense, you know them by the fruit. That's almost like testing the spirit without testing the spirit. So, I think I heard someone put, did God really say test the spirit? No, it doesn't say it in the Bible, but you could talk to you and I could tell you, watch, in my journey, I had demonic attacks. So, of course, I learned how you're able to test the spirit is also like when they come, how they come at you and what they say. Watch their fruit, watch what they say. So, of course, if I'm going to give you heads up and how to watch out for it, I'm going to. Like I said, I'm going to sing like a canary and I'm going to continue showing up and teaching you what I have learned in this journey. So, 2 Kings 23. It says, and the king sent, and I already started this. It's going by kings and kings, which the kings, pretty much all of them, if you read it, you know that they didn't make smart decisions. They were serving the darkness. And again, I can back it up. 2 Kings 23. The king sent, and they gathered unto all the elders of Judah and of Jerusalem. The king went up to the house of the Lord, and all the men of Judah, and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem with him, and the priests, and the prophets, and all the people, both small and great. He read their ears and all the words of the book of the covenant, which was found in the house of the Lord. The king stood by a pillar and made a covenant before the Lord. What did I tell you the pillar was? Sorry. I just like also to know, so you could also go back in case. Pillar, Exodus 33, 9 through 10. It says, and it came to pass as Moses entered into the tabernacle, and the cloudy pillar descended, and it stood at the door, and the tabernacle of the Lord talked with Moses. Now, Bible verse 10. And then the people saw the cloudy pillar stand at the tabernacle door, and all the people rose up, and they worshiped every man and in his tent, because it was God. It was God that stood in the cloudy pillar, and the Lord spoke with Moses. This is also for you to go back and read and do a little bit of a research, and able to connect the real, message, and what the Bible really says opposed to what the world was saying, and what we were taught, even we were raised at, so like I said, I knew that I had been called a goddess, but I really thought, because I was like some people knew, not a lot of people knew that I had heavenly gifts. You know, I knew that, and not once did I ever, ever, ever have abused my power. Ever. My beautiful gifts, never. And I knew it was powerful. I knew that before I knew what it meant to be chosen, because I didn't know what it meant to be chosen. I had to pick up the Bible to learn. So with that being said, when people were saying goddesses, I was all like, well, how do they know? Like I told you, this man had wrote me on, I said, oh, my goddesses. Nah, 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 nah. I thought, okay, I'm in flirting, but I was like, why does he call me goddesses? Because not that many people knew the gift. My daughters, my kids knew, because they seen the work that our Creator, our Father, has done through me. So they would be like, Mom, how did you do that? I go, not me, it's God. I always give him all the praise and all the glory, because it's him. It's the power that I have in me is from the Holy Spirit and our Creator, of our Father, Jehovah. So with that being said, when I would see the girls on there, and I know I have read about elements before, but I hadn't connected it with the goddesses. I was like, well, what? Until I seen she was a goddess of sun or something. And then I remember in this journey with some evil entities around me, that they would look up to the sky and they would be praying. And at first I thought, oh, they're praying to God, Wrong. They were praying to the sun. They were praying, that's their God. That's who answers them. Oh, he answers me. Hey, now it was like kind of like, it's what I've seen so much in this journey, so much testimony, but it was God gave me the wisdom and the discernment and the knowledge. And I had to learn the Bible. So with that being said, it says, and the king stood by the pillar, and he made a covenant before the Lord, to walk after the Lord, to keep his commandments and his testimony, his statutes, with all their heart and all their soul, to perform the words of this covenant was written in the book. And all the people stood in the covenant, right? Because it's the covenant of the 10 commandments. So when God speaks to you and you do it, a lot of the kings will say yes, but then they would turn and done evil. And you read it over and over again. Kings 1, Kings 2, Chronicles 1 and 2, throughout the Bible. And even to his children, he was saying, hey, come back to me. You're serving the darkness. Hello. And I get sad when I hear that song, Zion, because even if that man that did that beautiful song, he used it in all Bible verses, but to hear it in the song, that's the Creator, singing to us through that man. And you might not think so, but it is. He's singing through that man, and that song tells him, I will bring you home, daughters of Zion, son of Abraham. He's bringing us home. And even if he has to use me, use you, whatever, and also saving the world and talking to people about God. That's the Noah's Ark. Who are you bringing with you, And the Bible is just, it almost got me, it did get me emotional, because I was like, man, that's God's words. You hear the Bible and then somebody puts it in a song, and it's just overwhelming, and it's sad, because you see, like, he never gave up on us, ever. Not from the beginning of Pharaoh's day, from Genesis until Revelation time. Never sending people. And all he's seeing is that you guys are serving. We were all serving darkness. We were all sinning to darkness. We have made a covenant with Satan because we were sinning. And he's still sending people in there to tell you, hey, repent from sin. Hey, I'm coming. This is how I'm going to bring you into your promised land. And it tells you over and over again. And yet we're dead. We can't hear him. We can't see him. It's like, it's got to give. That time is coming that the door is going to be shut. And only the people that make it up to the hill of Mountain Hill, because that's where the Creator is. You're never going to get it. You're never going to get it. And you fight the people that he sends to do it for what? Only God knows. Anyways, it brought me and the king commanded Hilkiah, the high priest, and the priest in the second order, the keepers of the door, to bring forth out of the temple of the Lord and all the vessels that were they made for Baal and for the grove and for all the host of heaven, that he burned them without Jerusalem in the fields of Kidron, carried the ashes to them unto Bethel. Now, I'm going to continue reading, and then I'm going to go back to another Bible verse, how God tells you, stay away from Bethel, stay away from here, stay away from Gilgal, stay away from this, stay away from Beersheba, because there were real demonic entities. Egypt is known. Everybody knows that. It's the most demonic place you could ever be at. It was entities everywhere. Why do you think that? Because we were in the land of the dead. What did Job say? You have put me here, even David, that I walk among the people that have been long dead. Though we walk through the valley of shadow of death, I fear no evil, because he was with me. Because we were all dead to sin. You go from dry bones to prophesy to those bones to live. Arise, though thou wakest. So arise, O sleeper, and awakest, and Christ should give you the light. All the Bible verses are there that tell me that. I didn't even know that. And as I continue meditating into the Bible, it's like, damn, we're really in hell. And it tells you that through the whole Bible. And I have Bible verses to back it up too. And in that midst, as you continue to move away from sin, you move up heavenly levels. So while you're sitting there thinking, why am I still down here? And why is my sister or my brother way up there? You should be asking you that. Well, what is it that they're doing? We shun evil, shun sin. Follow my 10 commandments, and I will bring you into the place that I have chosen to set my name there. And I know you say that, because I even said it, like, I don't know. That was at the beginning. I thought, how's that going to happen? How do I know that? I had everybody that hated me. How am I going to get home? And I'm keeping it real, because I was all like, yeah, but see, I was looking at it in the world term. I was looking at it in the world term. But we serve a supernatural God. But he moves mountains. You believe he's going to do it, he will do it. And that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, man, how? And that was at the beginning. And it's like, shh. He says, shh. Watch me move mountains. All I need is your what? Faith. Even if it's mustard seed faith, I will move a mountain for you. And look at it. I'm up here, way up here, and I keep going new heavenly levels, and people are wondering, how is she doing it? I'm bringing my family and my ark and my bow. And along the way, I'm singing like a canary, telling you how to do it, how to sit there and get up here in the holy mountain of hill, because that's where God is. That is where his children are going to be. Or am I still going to scream, hey, Sally, what are you doing down there? Hey, Jack, what are you doing down there? I don't want that. So of course I'm going to tell you and continue preaching and showing up and telling you how to get up to the hill mountain. And you might sit there and think, oh man, we're still down here. You got to understand, if you're shunning evil and you're staying away from sin, you're moving dimensions with us. You might not see it, might look the same, but it isn't. You'll be able to tell, because you'll even see different people. And you're kind of like, whoa, it's beautiful how he works. Don't look at it as in a normal, as the world would see it, but look at it as a supernatural God that we work, the creator of the ends of the earth. So I stopped saying how, and here and there, my own self, I'm not going to say it was the demonic world. My own self kind of tries like, I'm tired. Hey, it's been a long journey. I'm keeping it real. And then I just rebuke those thoughts. I have to rebuke it. And I tell you, and I share this with you, because I want you to know that it's okay to have a weak moment like that, but rebuke those thoughts right away and be like, hey, Father, you're my strength when I feel weak. You empower those that are feeling weak, that are starting to grow weary. He's your strength. Just speak, and it pivots. He does it because you're speaking it. It could already happen. It already happened. That it says, and put down the adulterers, the idlers, priest. Put down the adulterers, priest. He's saying this priests had idols, and he's telling them, like, do you get it? High priest of God, high priest of royalty, the real royalty, whom the kings of Judah had ordained to burn incense in high places, and in the city of Judah, and in the places round about Jerusalem. Them that are also that burn incense unto Baal, unto the sun, to the moon, to the planets, and to all the hosts of heaven. Why do you think, Jupiter, all this is Venus, all this is Mercury, all this is all those is demonic entity worlds of elements of the world that science try to make it look like, oh, this is Saturn. Hey, all those are demonic world. Wake up, wake up. But, hey, science was pretty good in trying to sugarcoat it. Hey, you know what I'm saying? And it's all in here. And I was like, man, that was a huge revelation, because I had seen that, and I was like, man, she's not of God. And I don't mean no disrespect, in the way I'm saying it, but I'm being blunt and I'm being true. She's not no God for my people, not for my father. She's not no goddesses. She's the goddesses for the darkness, for people that kill, steal, and destroy. My father doesn't do that. They're the deceivers. They're deceivers that get on there and try to say, oh, God chose me. I pray to God. Hey, you do this. Hey, you do that. Lies. Lies. Wake up. Wake up. That's what it means. Listen to the fruit. Listen to what they say. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to test it. Let alone their title that they try to put themselves out. Do it. You know what I'm saying? And he brought out the grove of the house of the Lord without Jerusalem, and unto the brook, unto the Kidron. He burned it at the brook of Kidron, and he stamped in small to powder, cast the powder, and therefore upon the groves the children of the people. And he brake down the houses of the Sodomites, and we were in the house of the Lord, where the woman wove hanging for the groves. He brought all the priests unto the cities of Judah, defiled the high places where the priests had burned incense. The priest had burned princes, and also God's people. Now it says to Jiva, to Beersheba, to break down the high places of the gates that were in the inner gates of Joshua, to govern the city which there were man's left hand at the gate city. This is again, it tells you places where they had, there's just some places that were just nothing but evil people, It says, nevertheless, the priests in the high places came not into the altar of the Lord, Jerusalem, but they did eat the unleavened bread among the brethren. And see, as you're going out, like even when we get to the holy mountain of Zion, where our Creator is, we think, why do I see, ungodly people here? It's because they had dominion. They had dominion because we were sinning. And as we are going in this journey into the promised land, Satan tries to fight for your soul. So you sin and you stay behind. So you're down there, Sally. You're down there, Jack. But the people that shun evil, shun sin, guess what? We continue going up high. While you sit there and you stay with the mockers, while you sit there and try to attack God's people, guess why you're down there, Sally? Guess why you're down there, Jack? Because you're doing the enemy's work. We already have an enemy that's trying to fight us, and our Creator gives us the victory, and yet you're down there with the mockers. You're down there with people that are still shouting for your downfall. You see, that's not of God. So you need to ask something. I believe that Bible verse that says, I'm going to read that to you because some of you still have it, and I know. And I share that with you because I know that I did, and I needed healing and I needed cleansing, and prayer and shunning evil helps you get him out. As Psalms 81:9, it says, there shall be no strange God be in thee, but neither shall you worship any strange God. If you're still doing witchcraft, trying to wish bad on somebody, praying for somebody's downfall, and you wonder why, Sally, you're down there. And no offense for Sally. And hello, Jack, why are you still down there? You got to ask yourself, you reap what you sow. And God has been telling his children for, I don't know how long, to be honest with you, that he has said, hey, stop doing witchcraft to my daughter. Stop doing witchcraft to my daughters and my son. And yet, you're wondering, why is it that Miss Mary is up here in the hill? Ask yourself that. The enemy thinks that nothing's going to happen to you. He's a liar, and you got to remember, he gets a twofer with you. He gets for you to try to attack your brother, your sister, and he gets your soul. Double whammy. Boom. You know what I'm saying? It says, and then he defiled Topheth, and then he said to the valley of the children of Hinnom, that then it says that no man might make his son and his daughter to pass through the fire of Molech. Solomon was doing that, and that's also in here. I just read that to you. They were suffering through the fire, putting them through hell, sacrificing, for this demonic entity, Amalek, so he could get stronger, because that's why the demonic does that. He gets soul. So you sacrifice it, he gets that soul. They like pure souls. They like virgin souls. Yeah, I'm going to tell you what a virgin soul also means. Not only a baby, but at this point, I will be considered a very high potent virgin soul, because I have shunned evil. I have shunned sin. I'm pure. I've been purified. I've been without a speckle. And still, yeah, you get the demonic attacks, but they're not as bad. But it tells you that God leaves them as a thorn to you, so it keeps you on your toes. So it's not always the enemy. It's probably not even the enemy at all. God is in control. But if you think about it, that's why he allows that. Do you know what I'm saying? And you got to sit there and start thinking, like, what is it that I need to do? I need to get right. And you do, and all of it over again. So I would consider he's still been trying. And I just seen two of my enemies this last 2 seasons that they were still up here. When I seen them, I was like, okay, hello. I thought you were down there below zero, hell, and I was surprised when I seen them, and I'm being honest with you. And then when I seen them, and then I heard through one of the coaches that they said, man, they just came back and they have nothing to say, because he tries to see, can you get her to sin? Did she sin? What was she doing? Bring her soul back. That's why people are sitting there getting paid out. People are selling out and doing it. But you're also losing your soul while you're trying to go and attack another child of God. And a child of God is also a Gentile that has sat there and cleansed themselves and are following the way of God. That's also ours now. That's our family now too. And God is protecting them because they're shunning evil. You don't think that God can? Yes, he can. It tells you how many beasts are you bringing. What does that mean? It's people that were sitting there. John Ramirez, the perfect example. He was at the right hand of the enemy doing evil work. What did he tell Satan? He told Satan, take care of my dad and I will be your warlock. He got rid of that older warlock and brought in the new. You don't think you're dispensable? To my Father, you're not. To my Father, you're not. My Father, he's still saying, hey, cleanse. As a matter of fact, you that were in the darkness, I will take you. You are mine. And John Ramirez just saved him and his family. That's who he's bringing in his ark, Noah ark. He's saving his family and his grandbaby. What are you doing? You got somebody that was actually in the darkness and left that life because he loved his family. You don't love yours? You're not fighting for yours? You're not fighting for your soul? You're not fighting for your brothers and sisters' soul? They're not worth it? You're not fighting for your houses? And it says, and he took away the horses, and the kings of Judah were given it to them. And the kings of Judah had given it to the son, S-U-N. And at the entering in the house of the Lord by the chamber of Nathan, Melech, Chamberlain. This is the Chamberlain. Those are Pharaoh's people. Of Nathan, Melech, the Chamberlain, and also in the suburbs, and bomb the chariots of the sun with fire. The altars were on the top of the upper room. Ahaz, the kings of Judah, had made the altars, which Manasseh had made 2 courts of the house of the Lord, did the king beat down and break them down for thence and cast the dust of them into the brook Kidron. The high place that were there before Jerusalem, which are at the right hand of the mount of corruption, which Solomon, the king of Israel, had built Asherah, the abomination unto the Sidons, to the Chemosh, to the abominations of the Moabites, and for Malcolm, the abominations of the children of Ammon, did the king defile. Who do you think he really hurt? Who do you think the betrayal that you're doing? And you think you're hurting me? Because it didn't change anything the way I felt about my father, and it didn't even change how I felt about you. If anything, it made me want to pray harder for you because you needed it. But you betrayed the living God, our Father, the Creator, of the ends of the earth. And in this betrayal, he's still sitting there trying to get you home. The door's also going to get shut. You know? And it's sad because he was pleading. He's been pleading with you. Stop doing witchcraft. Stop doing this. Stop doing that. And through all this journey, still doing it. You expect it from a demonic world, you know, because they're evil. That's who they are. But for you, or what, to fight for a position, you also have one. What makes you think you don't? The enemy? He has you fooled because you also have one. You also have states and cities and vineyards. The only difference between probably me and you, and I know I'm not speaking because I know there's some that are breaking that generational curse, is that we stood faithful in this calling all the way through. We started off bad, but once he turned it around, we went full throttle to break that generational curse that's going to break the whole clan of Judah, which my father David, all of it is going to break. It's going to break everything that was ever against. So you're going to wake up one day and not even feel nothing. And you're going to know, not that I did it, is the creator that did her. Oh, he uses my temple. I'm his. What did he say? If you mess with my temple, I will destroy you. I had to sit there and become purified. That's what it means. You know? So your soul is just as important to a demonic world, and God gives you the victory, and you're not even putting up a fight for it. It's almost like you're letting Satan have it. And let me go ahead and attack this daughter right now. We're going to take her out. That's what you think. He has you fooled. That's why he's using you, because he thought, I get two first, why not? Except that he got somebody that didn't sell out, and they are Job. Job was like a man that shunned evil, and he didn't, and he was dropped all the way to the floor, you know. He brake the pieces of the images and cut down the groves and filled the places with the bones of men. Moreover, the altar was at Bethel, the high place where Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin, he made both the altar of high place and brake him down, burned the high place, and they stamped in the small to powder, and to burn the grove. And as Josiah turned himself, and he spied the spletchers that were in the mount, and he sent them. He took the bones out of the spletcher and burned them upon the altar, polluted it, according to the word of the Lord. And upon the men of God proclaim these words. Do you remember when Moses, Satan fought with, I think it was Joshua, if I'm correct, for the bones of Moses? Why do you think the bones? They're fighting for bones. What did it just say? They sit there and they throw bones on there because you are anointed. And those bones are very powerful to our darkness. So they're all like, hey, they get, what would you call? I don't know how to word it right now, but it's almost like the aura, the anointed. You're highly anointed. You get that power. If you also know, there's a Bible verse that talks about how Elijah was thrown in the pit, right? A bunch of dead bodies that they were killing us because they like to do that to God's people because we're true enemy. If you think he's on your side, he has you fooled. So it killed this man, and he fell on top of the dead body of Elijah. And that man hit that body and rose up, and he was awakened again. That's how powerful your bones are, how powerful my bones are. So yeah, that's what's saying, fight for Moses. And yours. And you're just like, go ahead, take me, because that's what you're saying when you go against God's children, even against yourself, by sinning in the darkness. Then he said, the title is that I see, that the man of the city told him, that it is the spletcher of a man of God, which came from Judah, proclaim these things that thou had done against the altar of Bethel. He said, let him alone, let no man move his bones. So they let the bones alone, and the bones were the prophet that came out of Samaria. Sorry. And the houses also of the high place were in the city of Samaria, which was the king of Israel, and made and provoked the Lord to anger. Josiah took away and did them according to all the acts that he had done in Bethel. I'm going to have to stop right there, maybe do one more. And he slew all the priests of the high places, and they were upon the altars, and burned men's bones upon them, and returned to Jerusalem. I'm going to have to do probably part 3, because I still have a little bit more to tell you. But I'm going to stop, and I'll start at Bible verse 2 Kings 23, 21. And I'll do part 2. All right. Well, shalom, shalom.